In many patriarchal societies and tribal societies, fathers are usually known by their sons, but I'm one of the few fathers who is known by his daughter, and I'm proud of it. Malala started her campaign for education and stood for her rights in 2007. And when her efforts were honored in 2011, and she was given National Youth Peace Prize, and she became a very famous, very popular young girl of her country. Before that, she was my daughter, but now I am her father. Ladies and gentlemen, if we glance to human history, the story of a woman is the story of injustice, inequality, violence, and exploitation. You see, in patriarchal societies, right from the very beginning, when a girl is born, her birth is not celebrated. She is not welcomed, neither by father nor by mother. Neighborhood comes and commiserate with mother, and nobody congratulates the father. And a mother is very uncomfortable for having a girl child. When she gives birth to the first girl child, first daughter, she is sad. When she gives birth to the second daughter, she is shocked. And in the expectation of a son, when she gives birth to a third daughter, she feels guilty like a criminal. Not only the mother suffers, but the daughter, the newly born daughter, when she grows old, she suffers too. At the age of 5, while she should be going to school, she stays at home and her brothers are admitted in a school. Until the age of 12, somehow she has a good life. She can have fun, she can play with her friends in the streets, and she can move around in the streets like a butterfly. But when she enters her teens, when she becomes 13 years old, she is forbidden to go out of her home without a male escort. She is confined under the four walls of her home. She is no more. She is no more a free individual. She becomes the so-called honor of her father and of her brothers and of her family. And if she transgresses the code of that so-called honor, even she could be killed. And it's also interesting that this so-called code of honor, it does not only affect the life of a girl, it also affects the life of the male members of the family. I know a family of 7 sisters and 1 brother. And that one brother, he has migrated to the Gulf countries to earn living for his 7 sisters and parents. Because he thinks that it will be humiliating if his 7 sisters learn a skill and they go out of home and earn some livelihood. So this brother, he sacrifices the joys of his life and the happiness of his sisters at the altar of so-called honor. And there is one more norm of the patriarchal societies that is called obedience. A good girl is supposed to be very quiet, very humble, and very submissive. It is the criteria, and the role model good girl should be very quiet. She is supposed to be silent and she is supposed to accept the decisions of her father and mother and the decisions of elders if even she does not like. If she is married to a man she doesn't like, or if she is married to an old man, she has to accept because she does not want to be dubbed as disobedient. If she is married very early, she has to accept. Otherwise, she would be called disobedient. And what happens at the end? In the words of a poetess, she is wedded, bedded, and then she gives birth to more sons and daughters. And it is the irony of situation that this mother, she teaches the same lesson of obedience to her daughter and the same lesson of honor to her sons. And this vicious cycle goes on, goes on. Ladies and gentlemen, this plight of millions of women could be changed if we think differently, if women and men think differently. If men and women in the tribal and patriarchal societies in the developing countries, if they can break few norms of family and society, if they can abolish the discriminatory laws of the systems in their states, which go against the basic human rights of the women. Dear brothers and sisters, when Malala was born, and for the first time, believe me, I don't like newborn children, to be honest. But when I went and I looked into her eyes, believe me, I got extremely honored. And long before she was born, I thought about her name, and I was fascinated with a heroic, legendary freedom fighter in Afghanistan. Her name was Malala of Mewant. And I named my daughter after her. Few days after Malala was born, my daughter was born, my cousin came to, and it was a coincidence. He came to my home and he brought a family tree of Yusufzai family. And when I looked at the family tree, it traced back to 300 years of our ancestors. But when I looked, all were men. And I picked my pen, drew a line from my name, and wrote Malala. And when she grew old, when she was 4.5 years old,